Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast, your season-long source for fantasy hockey news, analysis, and fun. Because in this podcast, boys, we don't take ourselves too seriously.
And this week was no fun because I got my butt handed to me in the FHHL this week.
As did I.
It started rough on Monday and just continued through the whole week.
I caught Nick's comments. He said something about I have to beat Devin at all costs, and I wasn't watching my acquisitions very closely this week. I was trying to sort of plan for season long, and so I got caught without any ads towards the end of the week. But Jordan, how'd you do this week in the FHHL?
Oh, I took John to the cleaners.
I think it's not hard. He sets his lineup like once a year.
Yeah,
that's the freebie we all wait for.
Yeah,
that's a good one, John.
And so anyway, we're back again, episode 196, boys. NHL fantasy preview for week 3. We're going to jump into our fantasy lock of the week. We'll go through the schedule. We'll go through our waiver wire picks for week 3 and who we like. And so let's maybe jump into that here really quickly. Let's jump into fantasy lock of the week for October 14th to the 20th. There's a couple guys here, actually 2 or 3 we want to talk about. And the first one, I guess, is Sam Reinhart. This is an easy one. Led all skaters this week with 9 points, 4 goals in 4 games played. Skated an average of 21 minutes and 21 seconds and almost 3 minutes on the power play. But Jordan, you had another guy that you kind of wanted to bring up, and I think he was right in the mix too. He was just behind Reinhart this week.
Yeah, Panarin, Bradman. He posted a hat trick one of these games. Then pretty sure he went 8 points in the last eight games, I think.
He was right there.
Or no, 7 points in 5 games. Yeah, 7 points, 5 games, 20 minutes on ice, and full power play minutes too. He's just taken off. He didn't lose a step from last year. Him or Reinhart both.
So, go ahead, Bruce.
Panarin is the first Ranger in history to have multi-point games. First 4 games or first 5 games into the season. He's the first Ranger to do it.
Really?
Put multi-point games together.
Wow. And he's 33. It's not like this guy is 28 years old. Like he's starting to creep up there, right? He still looks like he's 18, but it's interesting. So we had this discussion in the summer, Bruce, you and I, about potential busts, and I mean, we kind of wondered what Panarin was going to do. How was he going to follow up on last year's 49-goal season? He shot over 16%. It was a career high for him, and he'd never been a big volume shooter, right? I think 2.7 shots on goal is his career average here. And last year he shot 3.7 shots on goal. What was his shots on goal? 11 shots on goal per 60 last season. So my big thing was he's not going to shoot 16.5% necessarily. He could, but I kind of expected that to come down. And I wasn't sure if his shot volume was going to stay where it was. And he's at 9.6 so far through 5 games this season.
So I mean, he's got 12 points already in 5 games, 6 and 6. It's like 197 point pace we're on. So let's go.
And I love Panarin, so I'm not trying to take anything away from the guy, but it's just when you look at that, he's never shot at that rate before, and he's never scored close to 50 goals before. So it was just really weird that last year he just decided, okay, I'm going to go score 50 or try to score 50. So I kind of just question that coming into this year, but and mind you, he is shooting at 37.5% right now through 5 games.
That's not sustainable at all.
something to just bear in mind, I would say. But
it might drop back down to like 24 like last year.
But I will say, Bruce, I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by the shot rate so far.
Yeah,
looks pretty good. 3.2,
right?
Yeah.
I was listening to the 32 Thoughts podcast this morning, and Friedman made the joke that someone told Panarin that Shesterkin was the best player on the Rangers, and Panarin goes, "Screw that! It's going to be me." And then it's like, so just like you can keep Shesterkin's new cap number below Panarin's.
Well, on that topic, guys, Jordan, who would you say is the most valuable player in the Rangers? Is it Shesterkin or is it Artemi Panarin?
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for Shesterkin, like they have good defense, but not the best defense. Like they have a lot of offensive minded defense, but I mean Trouba and Miller defensive defensemen, but other than that, there's a lot of shots. It's like every team. If you got a good goalie, it's just like Vasilevsky. If you have a good goalie, you're not too worried about locking down the defense. Like, he's going to stop your pucks, and then all you have to do is skate up the ice and score goals.
They cover a lot of mistakes.
They do. They absolutely do. Okay, and then actually, really quickly, the other guy I want to talk about was Vladislav Nemesnikov, and we're going to talk about him. I kind of pulled him from our main list, Jordan, after you and I talked, but then I went and I looked at total points per 60 liters for this past week, and Vladislav Nemesnikov was number one. He was at 10.87 points per 60 this week, led all skaters across the NHL. A total of just 27 and a half minutes time on ice through 2 games, and he put up 5 points and 2 goals. He had two goals on 2 shots and 5 shot attempts. So I just wanted to give a little bit of fantasy love to Vladislav Nemesnikov because he had a hell of a week for a guy that's, he's not rostered in many leagues.
No. And he is second line playing with Ehlers.
And Perfetti. Yeah.
And Perfetti, yeah.
So there's not, he's got some warts to his game too. Like I think he shoots one shot per game, basically is what you're going to get out of that guy. But if he's putting up those kinds of numbers or even a quarter of that.
You always get that streaker. Pick him up if he's streaking.
For sure. Definitely. So give him a look at some point, I would say. All right, so that's going to do it for Fantasy Lock of the Week, guys. Let's move on to Edge Work, the segment where we put in the work to give you the edge in your fantasy hockey leagues, starting with the NHL schedule for Week 3. And we're going to pass it off to Bruce here because he's the man that covers this stuff on a weekly basis. So, Bruce, we appreciate you. Get into it, buddy.
All right, so welcome to Week 3. So this week we have, again, like last week, we have 49 games going on, and the NHL has decided to basically shoehorn them into 3 nights with a little sprinkle over the remaining days. So Tuesday we have 16 games. Thursday there's 9. Saturday there's 14, and then there's a spattering of games here over the remaining 4 light days. So we've got 5 teams that play 4 games this week. Of those teams, New Jersey and Philadelphia play 2 of their 4 games on light days. Edmonton, Ottawa play 2 of their 3 games on light days. Also this week, Philadelphia plays 2 sets of back-to-backs, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, Sunday. And then we have 4 teams that play only 2 4, or is it 3? 3. Buffalo, Columbus, and Vancouver are the only teams that play 2 games this week. But other than that, quick recap. Monday has 1 game. Yay. Tuesday has 16 games, which is basically everybody. Wednesday has 1. That's Philadelphia. Thursday has 9. Friday has 4. Saturday has 14. And Sunday has 4 games.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Bruce. We're, as we go over every week, we're not going to read through the number of games for every team. We're going to put that in the notes here. It's going to be in our articles tab on Twitter or X. So you can go check that out if you want. Or like I've said before, if you just want access to the notes, we'll send you a link for the Google Doc if you want to get in touch with us. No problem there. So with that, guys, let's move on to NHL Week 3 waiver wire targets. And as we always do, we try and focus on players that are rostered in about 50% or less in standard Yahoo or Fantrax leagues. We're going to kick it off here with Yegor Chinakhov, right wing eligible for the Columbus Blue Jackets, 20% rostered across Yahoo leagues. Just 2 games this week, Toronto and Nashville, but he's on the top line with Sean Monahan and Kirill Marchenko, and on power play 1. Just 5 games, Jordan, and he's put up 7 points and 3 goals, averaging over 19 minutes time on ice and 2.5 minutes on the power play. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's great. His ish, your favorite thing on here, 17.6 ish. That's nice. It's career.
It's a nice ish.
Career high.
It's a nice ish.
Oh, yeah. That is a nice ish. I mean, he's going to get looks. With 2 games played, though, and, I mean, you're probably going to have your lineup pretty stacked on those heavy nights. But if you're looking ahead and he keeps this up throughout the week, that would definitely be a guy I would pick up.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one, right, Jordan? Like, he's got 2 games this week, like you said, so he's not going to help you a ton this week, but I think maybe longer
just
term. Like they don't
scout it out. Yeah, scout it out, see how he does.
They just don't have a ton of offensive options in Columbus, and he's kind of been one of the go-to guys at this point in the season. So I'm just thinking, a little longer term might be a guy you want to take a look at before his percentage gets too high.
Agreed.
All right. Yeah, so like the ish is iffy, as we said, and then his team's even strength shooting percentage is at 13.4%. So that's due for a bit of regression here as well. The other thing I really liked about Chinakhov is he's got an elite level shot rate, 10.6 shots on goal per 60. Anything over 10 is fantastic. That's kind of what you look for. So he's getting the deployment. Shot rate looks great. Schedule's not so good this week. So maybe more of a longer term pickup, but
keep tabs.
For sure. Jordan, again, this is one of yours. Marco Rossi, center eligible for the Minnesota Wild, 10% rostered in Yahoo. 3 games this week, Florida, Tampa, and Philly. So not a great schedule either, but he's playing on the top line with Kaprizov and Matt Zuccarello.
Yeah, I like him. I watched one of their games the other night, and he kind of just looked like he fit into the position. Hartman got the boot. He wasn't doing much. So, I mean, Hartman does things, but not first line things. And he's kind of been rolling with it. So, I mean, whoever plays with Kaprizov, pretty much, you should almost grab instantly. Other than the power play time, if he gets more of it, he could probably, I would think he would go a good 50 points. That's for sure.
Well, and he's a guy that I think everyone's been waiting for him to pop, right? He's in his 4th NHL season, I think, and he just hasn't done a ton of
I don't think he's had the opportunity either, because they've been trying to play Hartman first line, and then you have Eriksson Ek, sorry.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been he got a few years. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah. Well, and so far 5 points, 2 goals in 5 games. That's encouraging. The deployment, like you said, looks good. 16 and a half minutes time on ice. He's getting a bit of power play time on top of that. I think he probably could. 50 points, like you said, Jordan. He can top the 40 points and 21 goals he posted last year. I think that's a reasonable expectation given where he's playing.
For sure.
And
his ish, another good ish.
I was just gonna say, similar to Chinakhov, it's the ish is a little iffy again. His career average is 11.7. He's at 16.7 right now, and the Tevish Bruce at 13.5 is a bit questionable.
A little high. It's a little high. It's okay though. We don't mind it when it's high.
Sometimes
not for the time being.
Not for the time being. No, for sure. I mean, and if the guys put up points, don't get too concerned about it. But all right, next guy up here, Josh Norris, center eligible for the Ottawa Senators, 19% rostered, 3 games on the schedule, Utah, Vegas, and Colorado, all on the road. He's playing on the, second line with Claude Giroux and Drake Batherson, but he's also got power play 1 time. And Bruce, you and I have talked about this lots. The issue with Josh Norris, and I've said it many times in the offseason, it's just that shoulder. And I've avoided this guy like the plague just because he's never healthy. I'm pretty sure he's made of glass. But interestingly enough, he's been covering a lot of categories. And some of those categories include hits. He has 12 hits so far this season.
He's testing the shoulder. It must be, it's got to be healed now, you would think.
Good.
Or he's got enough KT tape on it to hold it together for a while.
Hey, that KT tape stuff, it works. I had a shoulder thing too once, and I put some KT tape. I mean, not like his, but it does help out for sure. And so it's interesting. I think he must be feeling okay if he's thrown 12 hits and he hasn't fallen apart yet.
Either that, or he's got a sponsorship with Red Green and he's got duct tape holding that sucker on.
I wouldn't want to take that stuff off after every game. No, but he looks good. The category coverage is there. He's getting the points, getting the power play points, getting the deployment. He's almost 19 minutes time on ice, over 4 minutes on the power play. He's covering blocks, hits, face-off wins. The shots on goal are a bit light at 7, but I mean, he looks really good. So 3 games this week.
To be a pass first option.
Yep, and that's okay. When you're playing with Batherson and Claude Giroux, I think you can get away with that, right?
Yeah.
And then 2 of his 3 games are on off nights as well. So I think there's some appeal to that for the upcoming week here.
Yeah.
So it might be more of a grab and hold sort of option here for the rest of the season.
And if they're lucky enough when they play Colorado, the Georgiev's in net, she gets some points.
Oh man. Yeah, if you guys want to get off the rails a little bit here. I mean, Jordan, you called it a few weeks ago. You said
I called that, so I was like, this guy looks like poo. And then I actually watched it like complete dog poo. And then he just continued running like dog poo. So yeah, Noonan. I don't know how you want to say his name. They say it Anunan. There's a couple different teams call him a different name, but yeah, he actually won tonight, so they put him in tonight, and then Kakinen, I guess he's getting a conditioning stint, I think, and then Georgiev keeps it up. He's going to be out the door. I thought he was just going to be losing the 1A, but he's going to be shipped off to Robida Island somewhere.
They're
I
going
don't
to
think
ship him to
anybody's going
San
to pay
Jose
him.
for Blackwood.
Oh boy. Well, I think Blackwood in the right system, actually.
Yeah.
He's shown at times, even in San Jose, that he's capable. But it's just he needs, like most goaltenders, you need some defense in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Noonan, 26 saves.
Here we go.
26 saves, buddy.
Yep.
He looks. I mean, this might be the start of something. So I would
Go
be looking
get
at him
him.
closely. Yep. The Kakinen thing makes me a little nervous. I really do. That just muddies the whole situation.
And he used to be a good goalie too.
He did. Yeah.
Like he was a pretty, like not a bad netminder. So I mean, Kevin Lankinen's in here for Vancouver. I'm sure Kakinen can get a few starts for like we're going to third stringers playing. Give her a whirl. You can't get any worse.
Like I said, if they start Georgiev a couple more times and he doesn't do very well, they're going to give him the Cal Peterson treatment and send him down. And that's why Kakinen's probably there, because no one's going to take Georgiev the way he's playing now. So they can safely send him down and, excuse me, let him play for a couple of games, see if he can get his game back. And if not, well, then he'll just sit on the bench in the AHL and they'll probably trade for another.
Go where Jack Campbell went. Except not hopefully at the end of Jack Campbell's career where he is now, just pre-hand, just sent to the AHL.
Yeah.
Get well soon, Jack Campbell. Sorry,
Absolutely.
friend.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Just going back to Lankinen for a second here, guys. 2-0-1, one shutout, 1.28 goals against, a 953 save percentage, and a 4.25 goals saved above average. So he's looked absolutely lights out. I mean,
that's what I mean. Give her
yeah,
they're trying it. They tried it. Looks good. They tried it with Silvas or
Sheloffs.
whoever. Sheloff, sorry. They tried it with him too. Just give him a chance. Give Kakinen a chance. Like they got to start. Georgiev ain't the key.
No, and they doubled down, and then he crapped the bed again. So it was an ugly situation. Yeah. But yeah, I'm Kevin Lankin is another guy. We didn't have him in the list of goaltenders to look at this week, but I think I'd have time for
that spot.
Lankin, and he started the last two games for Vancouver. So that could be the start of another 0G option, Bruce.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been hanging on to.
We'll get back to him in the goalie section.
Yeah. Before we get there, though, let's talk about a couple more forwards here, starting with Casey Mittelstadt, center eligible for the Colorado Avalanche. Typo there. So
someone was asleep at the keyboard there.
Yeah, that's not Buffalo. No, we're going with the Colorado Avalanche. 37% rostered, 3 games on the schedule this week. He's playing with Nikolai Kovalenko and Logan O'Connor and on power play 1. And to your point, Jordan, you put in the notes here, he should get better when Valeri Nichushkin returns. I mean, that's going to give him, basically an elite winger to play with. So he's been productive to this point. Picture him with a bit better option on one of the sides. And then he's put up 5 points and 4 goals, 2 power play points in 5 games, playing a career high 21 minutes a game and 4 minutes on the power play as well. He looks really good. And actually, Bruce, I should go to you on this one because I know you've been a big Casey Mittelstadt guy going back to last season.
Yeah, I watched him come up in Buffalo, and his first little stint they brought him up at the end of the one season. He played fantastic, and then the start of the next season, and it's just he didn't look the same, and it just nothing seemed to work for him. And then they trade him to Colorado, and it's like, okay, now he's starting to. Now we're looking to see the Mittelstadt that we saw when he first came up to the NHL, and it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, the one that came out of college where everybody was seeing all those highlight reel goals and
taking him a while to get it. It's probably a confidence thing, right? So you're in Buffalo, you're not winning and you're not producing, so you get double shit on, and now you're in Colorado.
Plus he got older, and then they kept on getting high draft picks, and then he kept on. Yeah. It was the same thing with Victor Olofsson. Like they were good players. They just got passed up, and then Tage Thompson came in, JJ Peterka, all those guys came in.
Oh, I'm very happy for Mittelstadt in Colorado. He's doing great.
Yeah, it looks great. The ish again. So there's a common theme here with all these players we're talking about right now. The 23.5%.
The boys are hot.
Ride the wave. Ride the wave.
Yeah.
Ride the wave. It's not going to last for sure. I mean, that we're going to see some regression coming, but to kind of curb that or hedge that a little bit, he is firing at a career high 9.7 shots on goal per 60. So we got 17 shots on goal through 5 games. That to me, that's a really positive thing when you see a guy, even if his shot rate, he was getting a bit lucky in terms of shot rate or shot percentage. That's fine. If he continues to shoot the puck more, it's going to go in, right? So, encouraging there, like we see from Mittelstadt, still widely available. Go grab him. And Jordan, to your point too, he's going to have power play 1 pretty much all season long, looks like.
And if the next guy we kind of talk about keeps it up, he will be playing with, I would say, if Ross Colton, that's who we're going to talk about next real quick. But if he keeps it up, he's going to stay on line 1. Jonathan Drouin actually will go probably to line 2 with Val, Mittelstadt, Drouin as second line. So, I mean, and then there's Landeskog will eventually, who knows when he comes back, but he's not even in the picture yet. But I mean, those two alone instead of Kovalenko and the other fella.
Logan O'Connor. Yeah, Logan O'Connor should be playing in your third. Like both those guys are third line players.
Yeah, both those guys are third line players. So I mean, if you're getting Juwan and Val Nichushkin beside you, I'm pretty sure you'll even get more production out of what he's getting right now.
For sure. Ross Colton gives them options too. So whether he's playing on that top line like he is right now, or if he comes down to the second line because they want to keep McKinnon together, right? Like they have options now. And the thing I like about Ross Colton, he's center left wing eligible. And it's funny because when I first put his name down on the list here, he was at like 30 or 35% roster. He's at almost 50% now.
I think it was 32.
Yeah. And I mean, part of that is he scored 2 goals Friday and then he scored 2 goals again tonight. He's been on an absolute bender. What a season from this guy. 7 points, 6 goals in 6 games. Again, firing the puck at an elite level.
This is the 7th born American to ever score a Game 7 clinching goal. That's a little tidbit of information for you.
Really?
Yep.
Did not know that.
Thanks, Sports Center. Cha-ching.
Well, the other thing you should probably know about Ross Colton, 11.2 shots on goal per 60, but if you're in banger leagues, 19 hits this season through 6 games. So he's providing a bit of category coverage for you there too. Really like Ross Colton, what he's doing right now. The guys over at Apples and Ginos, Nate specifically, they've been talking about Ross Colton for like 10 years. It's finally paying off. So if you've been listening to those guys, paying attention.
Well, if you watched him play for Tampa in the Stanley Cup final, like he's the one that he was a dog. And then he never really got many chances until now to get first line or even, I don't even think he was top 6 when Landeskog and Nichushkin were playing. So he's running with it now.
No, he was third line center, I think is what he was then.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
Didn't he? Some of these players are taking their opportunity and they're not looking back.
Yeah. Well, and that's all it is. I was just going to say, Jordan, it's all about opportunity and deployment. And you see it so many times. Right? All right. That's Ross Colton. Let's move on to, well, Jordan, this is one of your guys here. So Anthony Cirelli, center eligible for the Tampa Bay Lightning, 4% rostered. 4 games on the schedule this week: Toronto, New Jersey, Minnesota, Washington, and then he's playing on that second line with Brandon Hagel and Nicholas Paul. To me, he's always kind of been like a better real life hockey player than he is a fantasy asset. But I mean, off to a solid start.
He's more of an average fantasy player. But I mean, I've kind of put him in here for the schedule because they have 2 off nights.
Yes.
I mean, if you're looking for a guy that plays on the off nights, I would definitely pick this guy up because he's got 4 points, 4 games. I mean, everything's just average, but if you're looking for a guy, his face-off wins pretty good, 54% this year.
Yeah.
That's just a little tidbit. Like, if you're not looking around for players, this is a guy you could be streaming in deeper leagues if he's still out there.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. He offers a bit of category coverage, and you can optimize your games played for your team that week. So.
And, if he gets a hit and assist or a goal on one of those light days this week, that could be a winning week point differential because everybody's playing. There's going to be a lot of people riding the bench this week. So if you got somebody that can be dropped or just on the bench and being dropped and you need starts or players or points, this is one of the players you could pick up.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit back and watch Jordan work his magic all week long. He'll be working the wire like a madman.
I did last week. I'm just
always do. All right, next guy here. We got a couple more forwards. We got a few more guys here than we normally would talk about, but there was just lots of guys that had great weeks. So Paul Cotter is the other guy. New Jersey Devils center eligible, 22% rostered, promoted to line one with Jack Eichel. Jack Hughes. My apologies there, and Jesper Bratt. So many Jacks floating around here. But
to be honest, I actually watched them yesterday, and near like the end of the second, beginning of third, he was demoted back down to I think second or third line. So I'm not sure if it's going to continue on the first line.
It's always,
but I mean, his consistency. Yeah, his consistency is still there though. Like he wasn't scoring on the first line. He just got promoted to there. All of his points have been pretty much on his third line with Nosen, Stefan Nosen.
Yeah. 20 hits here, looks like, through 7 games too. So for Bangers Leagues, some nice category coverage there. So I think I'd take a look at. Bruce, another guy that we both love, Jordan Eberle.
Yes.
New captain of the Seattle Kraken. 7 points in 6 games.
Love to see it.
And did you see it, Bruce? Did you see the OT winner last night?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Montour.
Look at it.
Yeah, Montour kind of. It was actually fun to watch because Montour just kind of floated the puck. He was trailing behind in overtime, and Eberle sort of like just thread it through the 3 Flames players, and he made it look easy. But it was kind of cool to watch him do that. To do with the Flames again, right?
His classic Eberle stuff. Just
OT wrister,
and he's like 10%. I can't believe he's only 10% owned. Like he used to be top league. Like it's how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, but he looks good this season. So I mean, that's a guy I'm going to just put on my watch list, and maybe just a streaming option right during the right week. Get the right
and he's right wing, so I mean the right wings are always a little bit harder to find out there
for sure. Okay, and then the last forward here, guys, was Vladislav Domestikov, who we already talked about at the top of the show. So 5 points, 2 goals in his last 2 games. Not a volume shooter, but does help a little bit with hits and blocks. So that's another guy that if you're looking for someone in the top 6 with a few games this week, or if you're just in a deeper format, that's a guy that maybe you add to the watch list or keep a close eye on.
For sure.
All right, and we won't stray too far away from the Winnipeg Jets because we're going to go on to defensemen here and talk about Neil Pionk, who had himself a pretty nice week as well. So 43% rostered in Yahoo, 3 games on the schedule coming up, playing on the second pairing with Dylan Sandberg and on power play too. But he padded his totals on Friday night with a 4-point outing against the San Jose Sharks. The Jets had their way with him, Jordan. I'm not sure how much of that game you watched, if any, but
I'm pretty sure you had this guy on last week for the boys, just a little. Wasn't fully in there, but on the extras, you're just like, this guy's looking good. You were right.
Pretty good. Yep.
Let's add another green light to the list.
So 5 points, 1 goal in 4 games. I mean, and usually a guy that is going to cover off hits and blocks and PIMs pretty well. Like he's going to cover those categories nicely and sprinkle a bit of offense. So he actually, when I wrote this down, I think it was on Friday night, 35% roster. He's already up to 43. So people are taking note. If you're looking for some depth on the blue line, Bruce, that's probably a guy you want to take a look at.
Yeah, there's the last couple of seasons I've been rostering him if I can get him for the entire season. Because zero D, right? So I'm not going after the big guys. I'm going after the secondary guys, and he's put together a couple of nice seasons there.
For sure, he has. And so this next guy, Jordan, I'm going to let you dig into him a little bit because I mean this is your guy. This is your boy.
This is our boy, Philip Broberg.
As we get flagged for a copyright violation.
I had that on hold for like an hour. I'm like, how are we going to introduce this guy the man himself, Philip Broberg, just is having a time in St. Louis. He's getting all the ice time that he wants. Who else is gonna steal it from him? He's sharing it with Justin Falk. His point per game, 43% power play share. He never got a single sniff of power play share in Edmonton.
And he never was going to. He was never going to.
Nope. But look at him now. That's our boy.
You know what? I want to be happy for him, Jordan. I really want to be happy for Philip Broberg, but the guy just kind of screwed us, and he signed a massive deal. So I'm still really bitter about it, but good for him. He looks really good. Objectively, I shouldn't be mad, but here we are. So, yeah.
They were protesting me putting this guy on here, but I got you out here, Philip. Don't you worry, pal. We'll put you put some recognition in his name.
put some respect on that man's name. Yeah, Jordan, it got to a point where like I couldn't ignore it any longer. He's put up.
It was a joke offense at the start.
Yeah,
but it's real now.
It's real now. Yeah, this is definitely a defenseman worth rostering in fantasy. And Bruce is just chuckling in the corner over here as my face is still red. But yeah, he looks good, boys. I can't take anything away from the guy. So.
No,
that's good.
He just the 6 points in 6 games playing on the Blues. Like you just got to give him some credit, just a teeny tiny bit of credit.
I'll give him a little bit of credit. Yeah.
He's got more points than 75% of the Oilers.
Highlights, Bruce.
Yeah. Did you see Holloway got his first goal here over the weekend?
No, I missed that.
No.
And who was who got the assist?
Oh,
Broberg.
Yeah. You thought the two won the lottery the way they were hugging on the ice.
Oh, man. Well,
they didn't want to sign us. Look at us now.
Look at us. Yeah,
exactly,
look at us.
Right?
Look at us.
We're never going to see the cup.
A little Paul Rudd moment there. Hey, look at us. Look at us.
Yeah.
Good for both of them.
Yeah. Honestly, and part of the reason I was so upset was because I liked both players. I knew they were going to be a big part in Edmonton, and that's why I'm still bitter about this whole thing. So, yeah.
You'll never be back on here, Philip Broberg. Sorry, pal.
He'll be back. I'm sure Holloway will make an appearance on this show at some point too, right? So,
I hope so.
There it is. Okay, let's move on to our next favorite team here, Bruce, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to talk about Oliver Ekman Larson, 39% rostered in Yahoo, 4 games on the schedule this week, which is really nice. So they got Tampa, but then Columbus, St. Louis, and Boston. Playing on the second pairing with Jake McCabe on power play 1. So they made the switch. They booted Morgan Riley in favor of OEL. He's now playing on the top power play unit, and he's looked really good.
Doesn't take much.
He looks like a couple of years into Coyotes. Oliver Ekman Larson when he was just tossing the puck around and
he's just having fun. He's got all of it. He's got all of his money. He's just having fun now.
Well,
he's got a cup now. He's got his money now.
Yep. Yeah. Like the pressure's off, right? He's done everything. Now he's just back to having fun and playing hockey.
And it's not like he started in PP1. He didn't have it to lose. Like they're pretty much being like, "Hey man, can you run this for us? Because we can't.
Because we don't trust Morgan Riley to do it anymore." So
yeah.
It's interesting, and not even just the power play time. Well, and that's contributing to it, obviously, but OEL's at like 24, 25 minutes a game. Like he's playing more minutes overall than it's not like Morgan Riley's playing all the minutes and they're just kind of, this isn't an Adam Boquist situation. They're running OEL like he's a top pairing power play 1 guy. Like he's getting all the minutes. So it's really interesting to watch. 4 points in 5 games, 8 hits, 4 PIMs, 17 shots on goal. So 3.4 shots on goal per game for him is again a career high, I believe. I'll go back and check that, but he's looked really good. It's kind of crazy actually. So Bruce, I picked him up in a couple leagues. I think I got him in our ESPN and in our FHHL league potentially. But the problem is in the one league I have Morgan Riley too on the same team. So now I'm like, well, do I punt Morgan Riley or do I just
trade him for Miro Heiskanen right now?
Oh, that's the little buy low option.
Because he's real low.
0 points in 6 games, I think. Is that what I read?
Oh yeah,
just
if you're buying, zeros across the board.
Well, hey, Bruce.
Oh, gee, that makes my.
I was gonna say.
I think Harley's got a couple of points, so.
I'm just looking that up right now, Bruce. He does, yeah. Thomas Harley has 2 assists, buddy. So your preseason prediction is looking pretty good right now.
Yikes.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Okay. Spicy take from Bruce is coming to
Originator of the
fruition
0D strategy, Bruce Gunther.
I love it. And Jordan, you got one more guy here you wanted to
Yeah, I
mention
just had a
before we move on.
little bit of tidbit here. The old Jonathan Kovacevic, the old Montreal Canadiens. I'm pretty sure he was a pretty high prospect for them. Got traded to these guys. 5 points in 8 games, but his average time on ice is 21 minutes and 4 seconds, 7 shots, 11 hits, 9 blocks. So in your categories leagues, pick this guy up. I mean, in any league, really, those numbers are pretty good. Yeah, for any kind of recognition. I mean, his role will reduce when Brady Shea comes back, but I mean, 4 games on the schedule this week, and I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 of those games are light days. So,
okay. There you have it. There's our defenseman for this week. Let's move on to goaltenders here, starting with Joel Hofer. And I just checked again, Bruce. I don't know if he's available in any of the leagues we play in right now. Gets scooped up in quite a few.
I think he is.
Go back and check. But regardless, 12% rostered, 3 games on the schedule this week. He looks like he may be the starter. Like it's interesting because
good thing.
What happened to your boy, Bruce? What happened to your?
He probably got mad and hit his head against the wall or something. I don't know. Knocked himself out.
Hey,
I don't know.
Could you imagine Georgiev going to the St. Louis Blues for Jordan Binnington?
Oh boy.
And the sad thing is, though, Binnington is a hell of a goaltender, but I don't know if it's between the ears for him or what. But
I mean, he can be.
I mean, him and McKinnon can just get angry together.
I know.
Well, so after beating the Hurricanes on Saturday, Hofer is sporting a 3-0-0 record, a .932 save percentage, a .232 goals against, and 1 shutout. And
that is nice.
To keep it even more interesting, Binnington's numbers have been awful. 1-2-0, .895 save percentage, and a 3.02 goals against. So, and then I think Hofer actually started consecutive games here as well. So even after a day's rest, they went right back to Hofer for the next game. And
yes, they did.
To me, that's a very early indication they may trust him more than they do Binnington at this point in the season.
Yeah, he shut out the Islanders, and then he beat Carolina next game.
So, I mean, I'd be looking to buy low on this guy or to grab him off the wire. Like 12% rostered, he's going to be readily available in most leagues.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he's gone in FHHL, but he's still available on our ESPN. Oh, no, he is available in both leagues.
Okay. There you go, Bruce.
Corrected.
And this next guy, very similar type of situation. It's Alex Lyon in Detroit, 8% rostered, 4 games this week. The Islanders, the Devils, the Sabres, and the Oilers. I think in terms of schedule, they actually looks fairly, like based on the results, they look fairly favorable for Detroit. It's winnable games. But again, he's appeared in 3 straight contests for the Detroit Red Wings. Looks like he has an opportunity to wrestle away a starting gig from a veteran goaltender in Cam Talbot. 1-1 record, .938 save percentage, 2.06 goals against, a 2.86 goals saved above average. Another guy that maybe, Jordan, you want to take a roll of the dice on, because that might be another 0G guy for the rest of the season.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, Jordan.
I have one other guy at the very bottom of this list I'm waiting for, but I mean, him and Cam Talbot have kind of been going 50-50, haven't they? One off, one on, one off, one on. Talbot had the first 2. He had 1. Talbot had the next one, and then he just had the other one. So they're almost 50-50.
He made a relief appearance in between his starts.
That's right. Yeah. He has made 3 straight appearances, like the October 14th, 17th, and 19th. He made appearances in all 3 games. Yeah. So whether he got the start or not, he did make appearances there, and
it looks like the 17th really good. Was a relief appearance.
Yeah, like he gave up 2 goals on 44 shots over a start and 1 relief appearance. So I think because he's shown in the past too. Like if you look at Alex Lyon's numbers, 904 last year, 914 the year before, 908. Like he's had those are again not huge numbers of games, but he's looked pretty good. And I know he was a streamer at one point in Florida a couple years back too. So
he was the reason why Florida made the playoffs the one year.
Yes. And so if Cam Talbot stumbles, I think this is a guy that could steal some starts. I have some time for that. But again, for the schedule this week with 4 games, I think he has some appeal.
Oh yeah. 100%.
All right. And then Bruce, we've talked with this guy many times, you and I, Lucas Dostal for the Anaheim Ducks, 35% rostered. 3 games on the schedule. They get a juicy matchup against San Jose on Tuesday, I believe. They don't miss John Gibson at all right now, do they, Bruce?
No, they're not missing him one bit. It will be interesting to see once Gibson is healthy, how long he stays in Anaheim. And that was another one too that people had thought that Colorado might take a long look at if Gibson can stay healthy. Could he be able to thrive in a system that Colorado runs? He's only got 2 years left on his deal, so if they want to make it work, they can make his cap hit work.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, Bruce. They've got some other goaltenders they could swap out too. Like if they said,
unless he's willing to take a backup role to Dostal, which I don't think he'll want to do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here once he comes back. Sorry.
Yeah, against San Jose. Like I'm curious to see how he does on
Tuesday. Unless that Fedotov or Askarov guy comes up from the Barracuda, because that guy just came off 2 back-to-back shutouts in the AHL.
He's looked good. It's strange they sent him down right away, Jordan.
Yeah, it's a little... Didn't he not tell Nashville, like, nah, I'm not going there? And then it must be a little nicer in the Barracuda, though. I'm not going to lie. Probably nicer in California than what it is in Nashville.
On the beach. Yeah.
Yeah, with his neck tats.
Well, so Dostal, though, guys, getting back to him quickly here. 45 save performance against the Avs on Friday night. So he's got a 2-0-1 record, 927 save percentage, 264 goals against, 2.57 goals saved above average, and 1 shutout. I'm just realizing now, though, those numbers don't include tonight's, because he did start tonight, I think, in that loss, if I am correct.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Anyway, regardless, the numbers, I mean, he's looked really good. And I think, Bruce, this is their guy, right? I think they recognize that. John Gibson wants out. I think they'd be silly at this point to bring Gibson back and then just give him the net again.
Yeah, Dostal did play tonight. He was the second star. 33 saves, 943 save percentage.
Oh, man.
See you later, Gibson.
Even though they lost
off to the Avalanche.
Yeah. Yeah. See you later, Gibby. All right. So there you go. 35% rostered. I grabbed him in our ESPN league, Bruce. I'm probably going to hold on to him for a while, especially the way that Stuart Skinner's been playing in the early part of this season.
And I'm going to say before that Detroit, that'd be guaranteed win net against the Oilers, right?
Oh, well, and
the whole tier too. The whole 0G thing is going straight up in rates this year, just because of, I don't know. There's like 5 goalies, and the rest of them are
lots of young goalies.
1A, yeah.
Lots of tandems, right? Lots of tandems, and like you said, underperforming starters, and then maybe a handful of really reliable guys. If you really look at it, it's Shesterkin, it's Hellebuck, it's Vasilevsky, Saros.
It used to be Saros.
Even Saros this year looks awful,
is
right?
Just
Well, anything outside the first line in Nashville looks terrible.
What a strange story.
Marchessault hasn't got a point there.
It's been ugly
Yeah,
in
there's
Nashville.
some
It's
teams
a weird
They'll
story.
figure it. It'll take a bit of time. They'll figure it out, though. They'll figure it out
for sure.
Yeah,
there's too much talent there not to figure it out.
All right, guys, we get 2 more really quickly. So Anthony Stolarz, this one I just mentioned it because he's been so good for them, but he is 71% rostered. So chances are he's probably not available in your league. But if he is, that's definitely a guy you should go and grab right now. 4 games on the schedule. He could start 3 of them.
Stop listening. Go get that guy right now. If he's
Stop
in
it.
your league.
I already
Just
got
turn off the podcast. Go grab him. Bruce is on it.
Yeah.
Tyler, if he were on the show, he'd be on his phone already grabbing Stolarz. But
he's too late.
He's been great.
No, he's gone Hofer.
2-2-0 record, 937 save percentage, 1.79 goals against, and a 3.77 goals saved above average. He's their guy. I think even when Wall is healthy and
Wall comes back,
I I think you got to run with Stolarz until this guy falls on his face, basically.
Well, I think when Wool
Toronto
comes back,
usually runs with
they'll split starts for a while and then see what happens from there.
Toronto usually runs with the
Wool
hot
back in.
hand.
Yeah, I think they should go 2-1. I'd say like give Stolarz 2 starts to Wool's 1, and because I think he's earned a little bit of respect at this point. Like give the guy some starts. But and then okay, Jordan, you've been waiting patiently to talk about this guy.
Well, I picked him up just because. Well, I mean, Darcy Kemper's injured. He's played the last 3 games, and I highly doubt anybody else is going to get a start for them unless it's a back-to-back. I mean, his save percentage isn't the greatest, but he's got 2 wins out of the last 3 games. And their schedule doesn't look that bad either.
Big save Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Big save Dave Riddick.
2-1-0 record. 236 goals against, 893 save percentage. I mean,
they play Vegas, San Jose, and Utah, so they got 1 hard game out of Vegas, and then they play San Jose. And I mean, I can't say Utah's not hard anymore either.
I was gonna say
they're a pretty good wagon.
Utah's looked really good. Yeah. Actually,
but I mean, he is going to be the 1A, so it's just an extra guy. If
Riddick's last 2 starts are really good.
Yeah, that's why I kind of just stuck him in there because I'm pretty sure he's like 10% owned or something silly.
Did they go back to the 1-3-1 in LA already or what?
He's 22%. He was at 2% last day. Yeah, so he went up 18% since yesterday.
Crazy. There you go. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. That is our NHL Week 3 preview. Hopefully that helps you out. And again, as we've said in the past, dear listener, if you appreciate what we're doing, if our content is helping you in your fantasy hockey endeavors, please leave us a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice. It really helps the show out and helps other listeners find us and hopefully help them as well. If you want to follow us on social media, give us a follow on Twitter or X at FHHacks and on Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Hacks. We're also on YouTube. And that's going to do it for another week, boys. So we will see you next Sunday.
I'll be here.
Perfect. Have a great week.
You too. Take care, guys.